Welcome to the Owatonna Today Show, your community connection since 1991. I'm Linda Karnauskas, and I want to welcome you on this Monday, July 25th. We have a fun and informative show for you today. We'll be on location twice today. First, we'll be visiting with Jake Langeslag and his goats from Ghost Dispatch here in Owatonna. And then we'll be on location at the Bemidji State Park, the Big Bog Stake Recreational Area. And we're going to visit there in hopes that some of you who haven't planned a vacation might want to take a ride up to the northern part of the state and visit there. The Owatonna Today Show welcomes your comments and suggestions on show ideas or show topics. We look forward to hearing from you, and you can email us at owatonnatoday@charter.net or by contacting our show's producer, Leanne T, at 390-5751. We will take a quick break to hear a word from our sponsors, and then we'll see you on location with Goat Dispatch and Jake Langeslag. So please, stay with us.
Hi, I'm Brenda with the Mortgage Office of Brenda Bednar, aligned with American Mortgage and Equity Consultants, where closings feel right from the beginning. I'm a proud supporter of the Owatonna Today Show.
Owatonna Public Utilities, real people, real reliable, real progress. Making life a little easier day after day, taking pride in our community, listening to what you say, a voice you can talk to. We're growing with you in mind in everything we do. Owatonna Public Utilities.
Greetings from the Steele County Historical Society. We invite you to visit us and enjoy your county's history at the History Center and Village of Yesteryear. Check our website for current exhibits and monthly programs.
Welcome back to the Owatonna Today Show, your community connection. We're on location today at the perimeters of Kriesel Park, and we're here talking with Jake Langeslag, and who happens to be the owner of Goat Dispatch. And Jake, why don't you share a little bit about why we're here today and about yourself?
Sure. So I have a company called Goat Dispatch, and a private resident contacted the city and was really excited to have some goats, and now we're here.
Okay, could you tell a little bit about your background, how it all got started?
Yeah, so about 4 years ago, my wife said she wanted goats, and we have all kinds of animals. We have a hobby farm, about 10 acres, and I said, you know, if we're going to get some more goats, they're going to, and another animal, they're going to have a job. So I was looking at ways to manage some of the invasive plants on my property, and I was kind of getting tired of going out on Saturday and getting burned out by cutting buckthorn and pulling buckthorn. So just put them out, did some test studies, and all of a sudden they were eating a lot faster, more efficient than I thought they would, and it kind of has grown from there.
And it's grown to, how many goats do you operate with today?
So currently we have 101, counted them exactly.
Okay. Can you tell us this project here behind us and this family of 11 supposedly that you hear grazing, how did this project get started?
So yeah, a private resident contacted me actually almost over a year ago when I was just first getting started. I didn't quite have enough goats yet, and I was still kind of building the herd. And this spring I met with the resident and some of the Owatonna officials here, and we have a pilot area here that they're just testing to see how the process works, and so that's how we're here.
And you said that the goats can eat up, if you'll notice the tree line here, how high up will the goats eat?
Yeah, they'll eat up about as much as they can reach, but we also have ones that can have the ability to bend over some of the smaller ones, and then they all kind of teamwork and storm on them and defoliate them that way. So, and then even on this one behind me, they're actually girdling a taller buckthorn there that they're actually stripping the bark. You can see that green. I don't know if that'll show up on the camera there, but yeah, so they'll also impact the plant that way.
Now, why goats?
You know, I think of all the animals, they're just the perfect size unit to work with, because if they're not going the direction I want them to go, I can still pull them and say, you know, put them in a trailer versus a horse or a cow getting dragged around. And I think they're just the right size for bringing to parks. Their temperament's great, they're friendly, they're social, they like to be around people, and of their eating habits, they're browsers. I can get them to eat brush, weeds, grasses. I get kind of a whole different range of plants that they'll eat.
And how did you train them to know to eat these species?
Yeah, so certain ones just kind of come with it naturally, and other ones need a little bit of training. I like to go in there in the buckthorn and bend them over and shake them, and then they start to learn how they can push them over. And it's amazing just to watch a goat earlier in the season, and then by the end of the year, they're champion buckthorn eaters.
And you said when they eat like this, it's definitely a partnership. Could you explain that?
Yeah, so I think the best ideal method is a little bit of goats and humans working together. So in the summertime when there's bugs and ticks and all that kind of stuff, letting the goats go after the buckthorn, opening it up, and then in the wintertime or fall when it's cooler, we can put a jacket on, we can do some cutting, especially when you have some taller ones. So once you get a woods, our first goal is to get all the berry buckthorn out of the woods so you're not producing seeds on the property. And then the second is just to get all of the buckthorn cut down to goat height so that when we come back again the next year, they're completely grazing the entire part of the plant, because some of these buckthorn are 20, 30 years old and they can get 20 or 30 feet tall. So,
and again, with your herd growing or getting more and more goats every year, how do you track who does what? Because you said they have certain characteristics.
Yeah, it's funny. You just kind of get to know and knack, and certain ones we just know. We have names for some of them, but we got so many now that we're a little bit behind on the naming department. My 4-year-old daughter's in charge of the names, so we're getting better at that. But yeah, we have a database, and I actually kind of keep a report card on the ones that behave and our ones that are doing good, and they had kind of have a history.
Now you have another business, and could you tell us how the reason this marries with this business so well?
Yeah, so I have another business, Aqua Eden. I do ponds and waterfalls, and just outside working on water. And I was looking for a kind of a side thing to do in the wintertime because all the ponds freeze up in the winter. And the most labor-intensive side for this business is the winter and keeping them through the winter and feeding them. So this kind of partners with that. And also, it's just been really rainy. And when we have a rain day, when I can't dig in the dirt, then we can always do goat stuff. So
yeah. And with your eco business with the pools, did you learn a lot about the invasive species through that?
Yep. So I have a degree in biology and in ecology, so that's kind of my main background, and then just being in those circles, working on some of the invasive species. So I have actually done some stuff with going around ponds and wetlands, and I just saw the woods, a lot of the woodlands around the state really needed some help, and people are looking for another solution.
What invasive species are you seeing in like a park such as this, the perimeters of Kriesel Park?
Yeah, so here we have primarily buckthorn, but we're really starting to work on some of the other ones that are pretty aggressive that are not on a lot of people's radar, like garlic mustard, wild parsnip, Canada thistle, and there's even some native plants that people like to have kind of under control. The poison ivy, prickly ash, prickly gooseberry. There's just certain things that when you walk in the woods, you want to be able. Some people want to walk through and look for mushrooms or go bird watching and not get all cut up and stuff like that. So
now there are some invasive species that they just won't have a palate for.
Yeah, there are certain ones that, most of them I can get them to eat. It's just a matter of, and that's the science behind what I do, is just trying to put them at the point that plant is most edible. Because if you get it, say like a cocklebur or a burdock, if you have them try to eat it later in the fall when it gets really hard and sharp and stuff, they won't eat it, but they can eat it early in the spring. So a lot of it's timing.
And why is it, do you suppose, there's a pilot program for the city? Is it to see how much they can eat, or how?
Yeah, I think it's just, this is such a new concept for a lot of areas around here, and they just wanted to see how it works, how the fence works, and how the goats work, and, just kind of see how well they eat and how fast they eat, and kind of feedback from the neighborhood and the neighbors and stuff like that.
How much square footage does each goat eat? How do you know how many goats to bring to a certain plot of land, so to speak?
Yeah, it all really depends on the density, because right here we have a really shaded understory and mostly buckthorn, so they can eat through this pretty quick. When you get out in more of a prairie or grassland situation, then it takes them a lot more. But they eat usually about 10% of their weight, body weight, in vegetation matter per day.
So how do you estimate? I mean, do you know?
Yeah, so a lot of them I just go by an area. So I just give them the price per this area, and then it might take longer, it might go faster. And if I'm like a little behind, I'll add more goats, or if I'm a little ahead, I might pull some off and bring them to another job. Is kind of how I do that.
Okay. What has been one of your biggest challenges in growing this business?
Yeah, I would say two of the biggest challenges is just kind of awareness and understanding the process and working in certain cities and ordinances, because a lot of cities have an ordinance that say no farm animals in town. Well, it was meant to be more of not having people raise animals 24/7. So I'm just trying to help people understand that this is a short-term conservation thing where animals are just used for a short term. So a lot of it's kind of rewriting some of the ordinances. So that's kind of a challenge in certain areas. But Owatonna has been great to do a pilot.
And so you have a pilot going on here in Owatonna, but what other projects do you serve with Goat Dispatch?
Yeah, right now we're working up in Minnetonka at Purgatory Park there. I can see 494 from the fence there. In Rochester, City of Rochester, also at Carleton College right now, and a bunch of other private residents.
Okay. So do you come out and you actually give an estimate? Do you measure the locale?
Yeah,
or?
so people call us or email us, and then I come out and I do a consultation. I walk through and look how easy it is to fence, and look at the vegetation, look what kind of plants they have, and then give them an overall long-term plan on how we're gonna tackle it.
And you provide the fence and
Yep.
and
I
everything?
provide the fence, the water, the goats. All they have to do is sit back in lawn chairs and enjoy them and watch their antics as they're jumping off trees and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of people have parties when the goats are over, invite their friends and neighbors over, and they sit out and you can really watch them for hours.
Now with these goats, would you get milk from them or do goat's cheese or anything like that?
The milking would be a little tough out in the woods, so we don't do the milk part of it.
So and then how long does a job usually last, and you bring them back to the farm?
Yeah, actually in the summertime we're kind of going one job to the next. They rarely come back until winter, but some typical jobs, small areas could be a weekend, and some larger jobs could be a month or a month and a half.
And how often do you check in on the goats?
Yeah, we check in depending on how, I'd say, the risk factor, as much as every other day or once a week, depending on, and then sometimes private residents like here, they kind of come and check on them every day and walk around with their kids and stuff like that. So.
Well, we've certainly enjoyed visiting with you, and this has been so interesting, and we just thank you for your innovation and thought process in this. And we wish you continued success. Okay. And your contact information will be on the screen, and people will know how to contact you if they want to have goats.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, great. Thanks, Jake.
Thank you.
We will take a short break to hear a word from our sponsors, and then we'll be right back. So please stay with us.
Looking for that perfect birthday party idea for your child? I have exactly what you're looking for, a pool or gym party at the West Hills Tennis and Fitness Center. Hi, this is Brad. Contact me today at 774-7102 to schedule the party every child will love. Birthday party packages are available year-round. West Hills Tennis and Fitness Center, encouraging and promoting a healthy lifestyle.
Hello, I'm Glenn Mager.
And I'm Michael Mager with the Brick Mager Funeral Home and the Medford Funeral Home. At Brick Mager, we are privileged to have served the families of Steele County community for 118 years.
Whether you choose traditional burial or cremation, we promise the tribute your loved one deserves with the peace of mind that you require.
We are proud to be part of the Owatonna Today Show.
Hi, this is Barry Gillespie, president of ERA Gillespie Real Estate, where our pledge is to save you money, save you time, and simplify your life. And we're proud supporters of the Owatonna Today Show.
Hi, I'm Betsy Linger from the Owatonna Foundation. Your generosity has made Owatonna a better place to live by benefiting our community, the arts, recreation, and education. Please consider a donation today. The Owatonna Foundation is a proud sponsor of the Owatonna Today Show.
It's Leanne on the go for the Owatonna Today Show, and I'd like to take you on a trip across the state of Minnesota to visit several of Minnesota's 67 state parks. Parks that you probably have not had the opportunity to visit because we are actually headed up to the far northwest corner of the state of Minnesota. The first stop on our tour of these state parks in northwest Minnesota is Bemidji State Park. Maybe some of you have been up to Bemidji, but have you ever stopped off at the beautiful state park that's located on the north shore of Lake Bemidji? The park features a lot of water recreation right on the park with fishing and boating and swimming. But have you ever been to their bog? It's quite a magical place.
One of the major features of Lake Bemidji is their bog walk. It's a boardwalk that goes deep into a bog, quite extensive boardwalk, and on either side you will see plants that are indigenous to bogs, some that eat insects. And if we're lucky, and I think we're here at the right time, we will see the state flower, the showy lady slipper. One of the major features of Bemidji State Park is their great bog walk. And in the bog walk you're going to see a lot of different types of plants and flowers that you normally don't see in the regular woods. So let's take a walk through the bog walk. Here we have pitcher plants. These are plants endemic to the bogs of northern Minnesota. And what happens is bugs will crawl down inside the pitcher. There's liquid there that kills the bugs, and then the plant digests the bugs. This is the flower from the pitcher plant. Another rare find here in the bogs of northern Minnesota. Give you a better look at the pitcher plants here to show you the inside of one. This is a nice little complex of pitcher plants. We have a blossom coming right there. And these here you can actually get a better look on the inside of the pitcher plant. Note the different colors and variations of the pitchers themselves. Here's a better look at the flower from the pitcher plant. This is taken from the front. The one up here then shows a back view. You're looking at another plant. It's actually an insect-eating plant that you find here in the bog area. These are called sundews. If you notice, there's the middle of the plant, and then they have a little veiny tentacle type apparatus coming off of the middle of the plant. And what happens is when an insect comes along, the plant knows when it's an insect, and the plant will close up around it. The tentacles are sticky, holds the insect into the middle of the plant, and then the plant absorbs the insect or the nutrients from the insect. These are actually very, very tiny. Probably the biggest one, or maybe about as big as my thumbnail. But a really cool bog plant. Another flower specialty that you'll find here in the bog is this right here. It's called a dragon's mouth orchid. I'll try to get in and give you a really nice close-up of it. Isn't that beautiful? Sorry for the wiggle. Dragon's mouth orchid. Here we can get a closer look at the showy lady slipper. And if you notice, we'll concentrate on this bunch here. They have 2 flowers per stalk. Generally, we'll kind of angle around a little bit there. Beautiful. And if you look on the inside, we'll go down to this one here. If you look on the inside of the flower, you'll see little pink dots. Unlike other lady slippers, your yellow lady slipper and your red lady slipper, these actually, the stems grow quite tall and they're multi-leaved. So these actually stand about 2 to 3 feet tall. There it is, your state flower of Minnesota. This bunch of the showy lady slippers really gives you a good idea of the progression of the blossoms. Here we have a blossom that's just barely starting. And then down here, you can see there's more pink that's forming on the bottom there of the blossom. On this one, a little bit more, and actually those top petals are starting to come up so that it ends up looking just like that. Here are more shots of the showy lady slipper, the state flower of Minnesota. And as you see, we have patches all over in this section of the bog. They're absolutely beautiful if you've never seen these before. Nice clusters of them. a real treat. We're looking at some of the water here now that's actually flowing in from Bog Lake. There's Bog Lake this away. And here's a little inlet that comes farther into the boggy area. This is a flower that you find in abundance up here in northern Minnesota. It's called a bunchberry. Isn't that beautiful? And then towards the end of August, after the flower dies out, the fruit is actually a little bunch of little red berries. And that's how the plant got its name, bunchberry. Another plant that you'll find in the swamps is this type of grass. The ends, when it blooms, it looks like it's cotton. And therefore it's called cotton grass. Really cool. It can grow quite tall. This happens to be a little cluster that's right at the edge of the bog water. This is Big Bog Lake. And eventually, over eons of time, the bog will slowly reclaim this water. Right now the lake ranges from 1.5 to 4 feet deep. And the bog will slowly retreat or proceed forward until you see the farther edge. We are at the Big Bog Boardwalk in Ludlow Island Trails. This is one of the largest bogs up in this part of the state of Minnesota. And it's a mile-long boardwalk out into the bog. So let's see what we can find there. This is the first part of the bog walk, and we're walking amongst a lot of short willow. You see some trees up ahead. Here's a portion of the bog walk. We'll turn it this way. Trees are not as dense. Those are black spruce that you see. And occasionally there's a tamarack. They're able to live in the extremely acidic soil of the bog. This part of the bog shows how back in the turn of the century, 1908 to 1910 or so, Beltrami County wanted to drain the bog and open it up to settlers. And so these big drainage ditches were cut back then, and as you can see, nothing has grown back. The settlement to settle this area was unsuccessful. The peat boggy earth underneath never really totally dried out. But you can see the scars that were made over 100 years ago, and they're still evident here in the bog. We've walked to the end of the Big Bog Trail, out of the black spruce and the tamarack, and this will give you an idea of what the open area of the bog looks like. This big bog is located by Upper Red Lake. And there you see in the distance more black spruce and tamarack trees. It's said that the bog is 50 miles long and 30 miles wide. An amazing sight to see in northern Minnesota. Here we see the end of the walkway through the bog. It's a mile from where we started. And you see just a tremendous amount of pitcher plants here, even more so than what we saw in Bemidji. Here's a nice grouping here. Wow, look at that. They're just all over the place. As we leave Lake
Amy Swain Hearing Centers is a proud sponsor of the Owatonna Today Show. I'm Dr. Amy Swain, and I want everyone to hear better.
Hi, I'm Tim Anderson, the owner of Anytime Fitness, where we make getting healthy affordable and convenient. Anytime Fitness is a proud sponsor of the Owatonna Today Show.
Welcome back to the Owatonna Today Show, your community connection. And we hope that you enjoyed that visit to the Big Bog State Park up there in Bemidji. It's now time for community announcements. Join us for a meet and greet of past Roosevelt School staff, students, families, and friends, Saturday, August 20th from 3 to 5 p.m. Please spread the word. We'd love to see you there. Sunday is the State Summer Movie Series again at the 215 North Cedar, former State Theater space. On July 24th, Raiders of the Lost Ark, so you won't want to miss that. The public is invited to the unveiling of the library mural, Arts, Books, and Inspiration at the Owatonna Arts Center, July 31st at 3 p.m. The public is also invited to meet Lynette Yanko, the muralist, and to meet the print artist, Joyce Francis. Joyce has gel prints on display in the gallery and will demonstrate the printing process. The Friends of the Arts Center will host a reception for the artist. Little Missile Summer Festival, Sunday, July 31st, on the grounds of Holy Trinity Catholic Church. Polka Mass at 10 a.m., and the festival begins from 11 to 5 p.m. They're having games for all ages, good food booths, inside sit-down lunch, filled biscuits, live music, silent auction, country and used bit stores. Holy Trinity is 8 miles south of Owatonna on County Road 45. Riverbend Natural Center will host John Lemprick, president of the Minnesota Mycological Society, and his wife Claudette, as they present an exciting program about mushrooms on Tuesday, August 2nd, from 5 to 6:30 p.m. This program is open to adults, and the registration fee is $10 per person, $5 per Riverbend member, and pre-registration is required by July 29th. For more information or to register, visit Riverbend Nature Center's website at www.rbnc.org or call 507-332-7151. Movies in the Park, another one coming up here on Friday, August 12th at Central Park. The rain date will be August 13th. Movies will begin at sunset, and pre-movie activities will begin an hour before movie time. Wolfstock Music, Lake Chase Dog Park, August 26th, 5 to 7 p.m., featuring Jake Jones. And that'll be put on by Parks and Rec. Triumph Graphics 2017 Annual Photo Calendar Contest is now open. Gather your favorite photos and enter them today. Share with your friends and family. $1,000 in prizes will be given away. Only 2 photos allowed per person, open to U.S. residents only. Theme can be anything. $1,000 in prizes up for grabs. The contest will close September 30th, 2016. Absentee ballots for the upcoming August 9th primary election will be available through Monday, August 8th at 5 p.m. The auditor's office will also be open on Saturday, August 6th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. If you have any questions, you may contact the county auditor's office by calling 507-444-7410. And be our guest. Free meals are available each week in Owatonna at the following locations. They're serving community meals in God's name. Tuesday, St. Joseph's Catholic Church. Wednesday, Bethel Baptist. Sunday, Trinity Lutheran. Well, that's all we have for you today, and we hope you'll join us on Wednesday when our guests will be on location at the Spam Museum, and then we'll also be on location here in Owatonna at the Black Sheep Burgers and Brews. So you won't want to miss Wednesday's show and join us on Wednesday. So until then, have a great rest of the day. We'll see you on Wednesday.